Hi, Charles Booksage here, and this is my Spookathon Tbr. Spookathon runs from October 16th through October 22nd, and it is hosted by Lala, Shannon, and Paige, and I will link all their channels down below. There are 5 challenges in Spookathon. The first one is, number 1, read a thriller. Number 2, read a book with a spooky word in the title. Number 3, read a book based on a childhood fear. Number 4, read a book with orange on the cover. And number 5, read a book set in a spooky location. For challenge number 1, reading a thriller, I am going with Stephen King's Carrie. This is the first time actually I'm reading this. I've owned it for a long time, but never read it. It's one of the few Stephen King books that I have that I actually haven't read yet. So, perfect time to dive into it. Second challenge, read a book with a spooky word in the title. I'm going with Neil Gaiman's The Graveyard Book. I have been looking forward to reading this for a long time, and this is the perfect opportunity to do it. This seems like a perfect October read, so looking forward to diving into this one. I'm a big fan of his writing. Number 3 is read a book based on a childhood fear, and for that, I'm going with The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty. I saw this movie when I was a kid, and it scared the crap out of me, and it has remained like my favorite scary and my scariest movie. But I've never actually read the book. I've owned it for many years. I made it as far as the first paragraph, the very first time I tried it, closed it up, put it back on the shelf, and didn't touch it for years. But now, because of BookTube, I've decided to finally tackle this book. And Spookathon's read a book based on a childhood fear is the absolute perfect opportunity for it. I actually made a video, one of my first BookTube videos, of giving myself this reading challenge and why, and I'll link that down below. And number 4, read a book with orange on the cover. I am going with Nnedi Okorafor's Who Fears Death. Now, I only have this in ebook, so I'll show the book cover here. And this is something I've been wanting to read again for quite a while. So I'm actually tackling books that I've had that I've been meaning to dive into that all fit these challenges very well. Nnedi writes science fiction. I guess you could say it's Afrofuturism, sci-fi, somewhere in that category. And this story takes place in a very far future, post-nuclear Holocaust Africa, where there's a genocide going on. And the last challenge, read a book set in a spooky location. I don't have a separate book for those, so I'm just doubling the Graveyard book up as my spooky location book because graveyards are spooky. This fits challenge number 2 and challenge number 5 for me. And that's my Spookathon Tbr. They have a Twitter page and a hashtag for it. I'll link those down below as well. Super excited to dive into this readathon. I'm actually on the second to last day of Sylvia K's Cozyathon. And then the very next day, right after that ends, is Spookathon. So coming out of one readathon and going right into another. And looking forward to it. Lots of fun books, lots of great books. See you all on Twitter. See you in the comments. And happy reading.